or a volley of projectiles were fired from the streets, as if the heavens had sent a shower of stones and arrows. Hit 3 times, the emperor had to be carried back to his quarters in haste. He died on the 30th of June, probably of his wounds, though there were suggestions that the emperor, now demonstrably lacking any authority with his people, was killed by the Spaniards, for whom he had no further use. That evening it was clear that the Spaniards had no other option than to flee the city. The retreat began in the dead of night. Muffling the hooves of their horses, the Castilians moved quietly through rain-slicked streets. Using a pontoon put together with beams from the ceilings of the palace, they crossed the first 4 bridges of the western causeway leading to Tlacopan. Then, as they were most of the way across, they were sighted, and at once the drum on top of the main pyramid began to beat. Almost immediately the lake swarmed with canoes filled with warriors firing arrows with a fury and clearly oblivious to the traditional Mexica tactic to aim to capture rather than kill. Those at the front of the column, including Cortés, managed to swim across to the mainland of Popotla. Cortés returned to assist the others, but the causeway was now under heavy attack on both sides, and all the bridges were up. Those not killed by arrows were drowning, sinking with the weight of cannons and gold. The few who managed to reach the mainland no longer needed to swim. They crawled frantically over a multitude of corpses. All in all, some 600 Spaniards and several thousand Tlaxcalteca had perished. Of the royal gold they were carrying, there was no sign. The massacre of the Spanish as they fled Tenochtitlan came to be known as the Noche, Triste, the Night of Sorrows, when, as every schoolchild is still taught in Mexico, on the morning of the 1st of July 1520, Cortés shed bitter tears under the shelter of an imposing ahuehuetul tree that can still be visited in its current cadaverous state, or admired in the art it has inspired. He also allegedly said, "Onwards, for we lack nothing," as soon as he established that his skilful but badly wounded shipbuilder, Martín López, had survived the ordeal alongside some 400 men. It was essential for their very survival that Cortés held what remained of his group together. But his uncompromising determination can only be properly understood by considering how he always assessed his indigenous opponents. The Mexica were already the subjects of monarchs of Castile, and now they were guilty of an unacceptable act of rebellion against the legitimate rights of the Spanish king.